Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And just a few hours ago, Savannah Guthrie announced that they are offering a $1 million reward for information on the whereabouts of her mother, who has been missing now since February 1st. Let's go right to Tucson to Betsy Brantner Smith. She's a spokesperson with the National Police Association, also former retired Chicago area PD, and also former hostage negotiator trained under the FBI. Betsy, your reaction to this reward money? I was surprised, actually, maybe that the amount just in general wasn't, higher sooner.
Well, I think what happened is, Rita, that Savannah has met with public relations people, with the FBI, trying to figure out what is the best way to keep this story in the media, to keep nefarious people interested in perhaps providing information. And so she provided this, this reward. And also got out there again in front of the media. I think it's a really good move because it did move this story up back into the spotlight, and we're seeing a little bit of movement here in Tucson with some of the DNA is coming back, things like that. And I actually just sat down with Lieutenant Randy Sutton and James Gagliano to talk about some of the new things that we're seeing here in Tucson.
Oh, that's great. So fill us in. In fact, two good guys, and I am praying so much that Nancy Guthrie comes home. It is so heartbreaking. What's the latest with the DNA? And also, Betsy Brantner Smith, what's the latest with, there were reports that the video that came out, that surveillance video at the doorbell that was reconstructed, which is amazing, that there might be two videos there. In other words, the person maybe came another day or another time to case out the place. What are you hearing on that?
Well, we've got a source from inside the sheriff's department that is saying that the still photos from the video, as well as that secondary still photo of a man still in a mask, still in the doorway, but without the backpack, that these are two different men, which is something that I personally have believed since we both saw these images. Yet the sheriff's department, the Pima County Sheriff's Department, put out a statement today that says we have not confirmed that these are two different people. So this is part of the issue that we have, Rita, is we have people within the sheriff's department who are putting out information, and yet the sheriff himself only gets in front of certain reporters at certain times. We still do have a communication issue, but we are hearing that people within the sheriff's department are saying there's more than one person involved. And I think that most people believe that person coming to the door is not acting alone and doesn't seem to be worried about being caught by anybody. And, so we're hearing that. We're also hearing about the DNA coming back, the DNA inside the house. Remember, we talked about commingled DNA to people that belong in Mrs. Guthrie's home. Now, so
in other words, it came back to that. Did they find anything that wasn't tied to anything suspicious?
No, but here's the thing that we have to think about, and this is something I think you and I talked about in the very beginning. Just because they belong in her home, they're a worker, a caregiver, whatever, doesn't mean they're not a suspect.
Right.
And these types of situations, generally speaking, you start looking at people who know her first. So just because we know that this is DNA of people who, quote unquote, had permission to be in her home, doesn't mean they're not suspects. So as this information dribbles out, we're kind of left to speculate because of the communication problems with Sheriff Chris Nanos.
Yeah, well, that's the other question. Why, I don't understand why he's not out there.
Me and Rita both texted him, and he hasn't come on with us.
Right. He's very restrictive, it seems. Shouldn't he be out there begging for leads and help? I mean, you would think they clearly need the public's help, Betsy.
Well, you're absolutely right. And I think that is why Savannah Guthrie got onto Instagram, knowing that her video would go viral, to talk about that the family still needs, the family still needs the help of the public. She's upping that reward. I also think it was a great PR move to donate to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, because a lot of people are saying, well, how come Nancy Guthrie gets all this coverage and other people don't? And so I think that was an excellent move. But, Ed Smart, who is Elizabeth Smart's father, he has talked about this in the media over the last couple of weeks, saying that it's a smart idea to put out press conferences, to put out videos, to put out statements, because one of the things that is going to be needed in this case of Nancy Guthrie missing is the help of the public. And so I think Samantha Guthrie is being very smart to release this video, as well as to put up this reward, trying to entice someone
I agree.
who may know something. It's a brilliant move, and we do need to keep this story at the forefront.
Yeah, 100%. By the way, really quick, anything tied to Mexico? My goodness, what's scary that's going on. And that's only like 60 miles away. We just have a few seconds, Betsy.
Yeah, absolutely. We're a border county. Part of Pima County borders Mexico. And so there's always that cartel influence situation, and it's something to really watch. Yeah,
it certainly is. Betsy, thank you very much. We love having you on, Betsy. Please keep us posted right there from Tucson. Thank you.
Thanks, Rita, for having me.
Thank you so much.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.